Coffee Break with me. Woo! Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you today? Today I'm here with kind of a different video. Several of you have asked me to tell you guys or share what's in my MAC Neutrals palette, and I was kind of thinking of what videos to film for you guys. I know that door is gonna bother some of you, so let me close it. It bothers me too. I hate when I see like an open drawer or an open door. Oh, I don't know why, is that a thing? It's probably a thing, isn't it? And I'm a little scatterbrained at the moment. Anyway, so several of you have asked me what's in my MAC Neutrals palette. And if you're unfamiliar, MAC has pretty good eyeshadows. I would say they're some of my favorites. And the reason that I like MAC is because if you need a rusty brown or a canary yellow or a bright ass cobalt blue, they're gonna have every single color of eyeshadow, and everything is labeled in such a friendly and familiar way. You know, from the finish to the name to, it's awesome. And when you go to a MAC store, I've personally had pretty good experiences there. I mean, usually the makeup artists are really well trained, and if I tell them, okay, I want a great eyeshadow that has a little bit of sparkle but that I can wet and it'll look, you know, great for a smoky eye, but I want to make sure it's not too cool, they're gonna find the perfect color for me. So I've had pretty good experience, and it's been several, I would say years. It took me several years to fill this palette, and I filled it mostly with names or products that I heard over and over and over and over again, and I kind of had a list going, and then I went in and I slowly purchased them one by one to make my own palette. If you're new to my channel or unfamiliar, I do prefer warmer shadows. I have neutral undertones, but cooler eyeshadows aren't as flattering on me, I feel. I still wear them because YOLO and I don't care, but warmer eyeshadows tend to look better on me. So I've filled this palette with eyeshadows that I feel are more useful for the type of complexion that I have. So if you're not familiar with MAC, they do sell these empty palettes where you can basically customize your own palette. The single pans cost $10 each, or if you get them in the little pots like this, they do cost $16. But the cool thing about them coming like this is that you can depot them and then take the container back for the Back to MAC program. But I just like to get them in pans because when they're in pans, they already have the sticker on the bottom and I don't have to label them myself, and they have the magnet and all that convenient stuff. So it's $10. You just can't Back to MAC it, but I mean, it's gonna take me forever to use them up anyway. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm like, oh, this is more convenient. But I do have to say that my favorite eyeshadow from MAC of all time is MAC's Kid, and that I have in the potted version. And I don't wanna depot it because whenever I travel, if I'm ever going anywhere, I just take this little guy and just drop it in my bag. This is the perfect transition shade. Like, my favorite eyeshadow, I need to take that back. It's not my favorite MAC eyeshadow. It's my favorite eyeshadow of all time, MAC's Kid. And so I'm never gonna depot this because if I ever need to travel, I just put this as a transition shade with wing liner and mascara and I'm good. This is all I use. It's the perfect color. So I'm gonna swatch this for you guys. So just so that you can become a little bit more familiar, MAC has their own little type of Z palette. It's not my favorite. It's kind of chunky and then it has a really sharp edge right here, which I think is a little strange, but it's pretty. I mean, if you don't travel too much, I would say it's a cool palette to have. But I still prefer Z palettes over it. I do prefer the stronger magnet of the Z palette, but if you are just going to do an exclusive MAC palette and you're like me where you want everything to look, you know, pretty and organized, a place for everything and everything in its place type of mentality like me, then I would say get the matching palette. It's not even that expensive, I don't think. Honestly, I don't think it's expensive at all. It's probably like $5 or $10, and then the insert, this is the insert, by the way. The insert, I think, is like $2, and you can do different inserts in here. You can get like the six pan insert for like blushes or face powders. Anyway, I'm totally going off on a tangent. So these are the colors that I have in my MAC palette, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zoom you guys in closer and I'll show you a close-up of each of these colors. So the actual insert looks like that, and you can see that it fits 15 eyeshadows so beautifully. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna switch the angle of my camera and maybe that will help. Wow, Danny, I had kind of a genius moment there, didn't I? Anyway, so this is what the palette looks like. The first color in the top corner, and please excuse my janky manicure, the first color in the top corner is Shroom, and this is a really beautiful, almost shimmery brow bone highlight or inner corner highlight. You can see how it looks there, and it just swatches so beautifully. It's creamy, it's almost like a satin shadow. It's not too shimmery or metallic where you couldn't wear it as a brow bone highlight. If you're not down for the pearly brow bone highlight, I'd say go for Orb, and that's this shade right here. And this is a matte shadow. It's almost like a warm cream color. You can see how awesome. The pans come with the magnet and the sticker already. And this is just a beautiful warm cream color, and this is my go-to brow bone highlight. I really like that color. You can see it's just a tad bit lighter than my actual skin tone. And the perfect lid shade is Naked Lunch, and I actually bought this on Jaclyn Hill's recommendation when she used to work for MAC. She had probably like 3 of these, and they all had hit pan. That's how much she loved it, and she was like, this is the most beautiful eyelid color. I hardly use it for the eyelid, but I do have to agree that it's a really beautiful color. You could see, it kind of reminds me of MAC's Sin. It's just a beautiful, almost pinky champagne, frosty shade. Perfect for the lid. Definitely perfect for the lid. This next color here is called Era, and Era is a very unique color. It's almost like a taupe. It's like a grayish taupe. You could see it right there. I love this color in lieu of MAC's Kid. You could see it's a hair lighter than my skin tone, so as a transition shade, it would be a really good color to just kind of blow it out when you're doing a really minimalistic look. When I really want to warm things up as a transition shade, I use the color Bamboo, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but this one actually has a dip in it, and for me, that's major. So Bamboo is a color that I really love because it's a warm to neutral brown, but it's so light that it's perfect for a transition shade if you want to do something warm but light enough. You know what I'm saying? Like when you just want to do that beautiful transition shade that's a little bit warm and just kind of blow it out. This color reminds me of Blur from, oh, come on. Blur from Melt Cosmetics. Oh my God, my brain is fried, you guys. This next shade right here in the middle row is the color Wedge. And Wedge is one of those browns that everybody needs in their collection because it's perfect for your brows, it's perfect as a transition shade, it's perfect to smoke out the lower lash line. It's such a beautiful, cool brown. I'm not down for the cool shadows like I told you guys, but it's a perfect cool brown, and I could put this on my brows even though I have dark eyebrows, and it looks really awesome. I told you guys it was a neutrals palette, so they're not that, you know, different. I definitely can come up with a million looks in this palette, but a lot of them look very similar to each other. The next shade is right here, and this is the shade Omega. Omega is another one of those shades like this one that would be a really good brow color for some people. I think especially for maybe people with blonde hair, this color is really pretty. That is that color right there, and you can see the difference between the two. Even though when you see them in the pan, they're a little similar, but you can see how much cooler this shade is from this one, and you can see how much warmer this shadow is here. So this is Bamboo, this is Wedge, and then this is Omega. This shade in the middle is actually a color that I depotted, and you're going to kill me, but I don't know what color it is. I don't know the name. I don't know if it's limited edition. I don't know anything about it. I just remember it was MAC. I was super excited to find it. I depotted it, and then I didn't do anything with it. So I honestly don't remember what color it is, but look at that. Isn't that the most beautiful gold color ever? And I remember I really liked it because it was gold, but it has almost like a copper fleck to it. So it doesn't just look gold. It's perfect for the lid, or to just put that in the center of the lid to kind of brighten up the eyelid space. This next color here is a cult favorite, and this is soft brown. And soft brown is such a beautiful shade. It's just a warm brown, but it's really great for the crease. I really like this color. Honestly, I don't use it as much as I do this color here, and I'll tell you which one that is in a second. But this is definitely a cult favorite. Everybody uses this for the crease or as a transition shade, and it is really a beautiful color, but I definitely don't use it as much as most people do. And that is that color right there. We're running out of room, so we're gonna have to switch hands. This is the next color that I forgot to label, but it's a really common color. I remember that I got this because everyone likes it. I am the worst, most unprepared person in life. I'm sorry, you guys. I know a lot of you are gonna tell me what color this is in the comments. It's just the most perfect mustardy brown ever. This is a neutrals palette, so it is a little boring, but you can definitely make your very own, almost like naked palette or everyday, perfect for school or work. And I'm gonna swatch that right there. I wish I knew the name of this. I'm gonna try and find it, and I'll insert an annotation for you guys in the video. So you see it's like, okay, this is gonna sound awful, but it's like baby barf color. You know what I mean? Like baby poo color. One of those colors that is so ugly, it's absolutely beautiful. That's exactly what this color is. And for my favorite shadow that I was telling you, or not favorite, but I prefer it over soft brown, that's this color right here, and that is the color Texture. Texture is such a pretty warm brown. You can see right there, just a really beautiful warm brown. It has a little bit of almost red to it. See how pretty that color is? I love Texture. I prefer that 10 times over soft brown, probably because it has a little bit more pigment and it's not as flat. This next color here is the shade Cork, and all of these names I'm sure are sounding very familiar to you guys because they're all definitely MAC cult favorites. And this is a beautiful neutral brown. This next color here is Brown Script, and if you were looking for the perfect reddish dark brown, I would say Brown Script all the way. Brown Script is just, oh, it's a stunning color. I love this color. I think if I had to narrow it down to like my top 4 favorite MAC shadows, I would definitely say Brown Script, Kid, Orb, and ooh, I'm gonna have to wait for that. I can't decide quite yet. So you could see Brown Script right there. Isn't that stunning? I love that color. 2 more colors and we're done. This is the next color that I just threw across the palette. This is the shade Embark, and just perfect neutral brown. Perfect dark chocolate neutral brown. It's just such a beautiful color. I know a lot of times people can be scared of using black eyeshadow. I know I'm still scared of using black. It's very rare. It's a very rare occasion when I actually whip out a black eyeshadow. But Embark is just perfect for deepening out any look that you want. It's safe, you know, it's a safe color when you want to deepen or smoke anything out without reaching for that black. And if you want a dark chocolate just like Embark, but you want it to be on the cooler side, this is the shade Corduroy. And Corduroy is a cooler dark brown. Look how pretty that color is. And that's right here. See how pretty? And if you were wondering about Kid, I didn't forget, this is definitely my favorite MAC eyeshadow of all time. They keep saying they're gonna discontinue it, so I have 2 or 3 backups lying around somewhere, but it's just, I love this color, you guys. It's just the perfect eyeshadow. Look at that. You can hardly see it, but when you apply that to your eyelid, it just, it gives you so much dimension in the crease, so much. It's the only one eyeshadow look you need. If I were to do a one eyeshadow look, it would be with Kid. I just throw that in the crease, do wing liner and lashes, and you're good to go. So those are all the colors that I have in my custom MAC Neutrals palette. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Keep in mind that I do have neutral to warm undertones, so I customized this palette to my personal liking or colors that I would reach for the most, but I did try really hard to get complementary colors. So I do have, you know, the warm crease color and the cool crease color, the warm dark brown and the cool dark brown, so that I have a color for every look that I try to create that is neutral. So you guys can see, you can see a little bit better now that you are far away, all of the colors that I selected. They're definitely complementary. I'm going to list this palette, the insert, and all of the shades in the order that I showed them to you in the description box below, in case you guys were like, huh, what was that? I totally missed it. I will list it in the description box below. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, if you found this video useful,